Hi guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors trade options for De'Anthony Melton. The Golden State Warriors were struck with devastating news on November 20th when it was announced that De'Anthony Melton, the team's starting shooting guard, was set to undergo season-ending ACL surgery shortly thereafter. Bleacher Report's Jake Pfizer reported the Warriors plan to flip Melton's one-year $122.8 million contract into a valuable piece that can help them in the 2024-25 season. Despite Melton's injury, several teams would be willing to take on his expiring contract if the Warriors attached draft compensation per Fisher. Melton signed a one-year $122.8 million contract as a free agent last summer that is a good piece for salary matching in a deal for Golden State, which will seek to upgrade its roster for another NBA Finals push with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Fisher said elsewhere. Clutch Point's Brett Siegel reported that the Warriors could apply for a disabled player exception DPE worth approximately $6.4 million, half of Melton's salary, but could run into some challenges in using the exception on a player due to their hard cap situation. Regardless, the Warriors are not eligible to trade Melton before December 15th, and if they do, here are three realistic options. Warriors would get Bruce Brown, Raptors would get Melton, Kyle Anderson, Sir Charles, and charges Michael Sines. Explained why Brown, a former NBA champion with the Nuggets, could be a critical 3-and-deeps for Steve Warriors. He's a proven veteran with a championship pedigree who knows how to play any specific role effectively. Signs are of Brown if the Warriors are looking for that in a potential trade target. Brown could be their man. However, making a move for Brown could prove to be complicated considering the asking price, with Messi UA on the other side of the phone and his unsettled contract situation heading into the off-season. Unless the Warriors are willing to make a move for Brown as a rental for the remainder of the season, he'd be much more of a risk than perhaps the Warriors are willing to take at this point. According to The Athletic, the Brooklyn Nets are open to shopping their entire roster ahead of the February 6, 2025 trade deadline, as such quality role players such as Cameron Johnson, Nick Claxton, and Dennis Schroeder could be there for the taking. The Leeds Ty Hooker argued Johnson should be a top the Warriors list, especially why, due to his playing style and ability to play both ends of the floor. Warriors would get Cameron Johnson, Nets would get Melton. Gary Payton to 2026 first-round pick. Is that a steep asking price for Johnson? Perhaps, but the Warriors could be forced to part with a lot of assets for a player such as Johnson, who was averaging career highs in points 18.33 p.m. per game, 3.3, and assists 2.9 through the first 18 games of the season. The last Warriors trade option for Melton is a move geared at shoring up the Warriors' perimeter defense. The big move would see Golden State acquire Marcus Smart, the 2022 Defensive Player of the Year from the Grizzlies. Again, the asking price could be a bit too steep, but a move that could eventually help Stephen Curry and Draymond Green edge closer to their fifth championship. Warriors would get Marcus Smart, Grizzlies would get Melton. Payton to 226 first-round picks or Charles and charges. Michael Sines argued that Smart was a needed foil for the Warriors' backcourt in light of Melton's injury, especially due to Curry's limitations as a perimeter defender. Smart could help take a ton of pressure off both Steph Curry and Brandon Podziemski defensively, and would still be able to add a little offensive punch to the team. He wrote, in the right system you'd have to imagine that Smart still has one more strong run in him. He struggled during his time in Memphis over the past 2 seasons, but maybe a change of scenery is exactly what he needs at this point in his career. The Warriors could provide him that with a big move at the NBA trade deadline. Why Warriors must not make any panic moves over brutal collapses at end. To 2 start to the 2024-2 season was unexpected for the Golden State Warriors. Internally, this organization held high belief that they would be able to put the 2023-24 season behind them and flip the script to a new fresh page. Lately, the Warriors have gone back to some of their old habits, leading to a 2-3 record over their last 5 games and headlined by a 128-120 loss at home to the Brooklyn 8's on Monday night. A failed draft workout ruined the Warriors dynasty after leading by 18 points in the third quarter. Golden State simply took their foot off the gas pedal against a completed Nets roster. Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton were both sidelined with injuries. Cam Johnson left the game with a sprained ankle, and the Nets' leading scorer and Cam Thomas ended up leaving the game in the third quarter due to a nagging back injury. This should have been an easy victory for the Dubs in front of the Chase Center faithful, yet that was not the case. Still 12-5 on the season. There is no reason for the Warriors to begin panicking. Sure, they have lost two straight games to teams they should have defeated in the San Antonio Spurs and the Nets, but that is the nature of the NBA. With the amount of talent that exists across this league today, any team is susceptible to facing an upset on any given night, especially against teams full of role players like the Nets without a star player. Brooklyn spreads their offense out among the entirety of their roster, and they displayed their free-flowing offense with Dennis Schroeder taking charge of things in the second half. It is also worth pointing out that the Warriors are in the midst of an interesting part of their schedule. The start of November saw Golden State far the Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City Thunder and Cleveland Cavaliers. Three of the best teams in the NBA wins on the road over the Celtics and Thunder gave the Warriors the assurances they needed, and the team then went on to pick up a massive emotional victory over the Dallas Mavericks and Klay Thompson's return to the Bay Area. On top of all of these big games with playoff-like atmospheres, the Warriors were able to clinch West Group C in the NBA Cup group stage and advance to the quarterfinals. There is an emotional element that plays into Golden State's recent stretch of games that have not been their most impressive performances of the season, and there is also a fatigue element that is beginning to catch up to them. Monday night against Brooklyn marked the team's second back-to-back of the season. NBA rumors: Warriors named as possible trade suitor for Bulls former lottery pick. The Golden State Warriors were recently mentioned as a possible trade suitor for Chicago Bulls forward Patrick Williams. NBA insider Jake Pfizer made the link between Williams and the Warriors by a Bleacher Report. One name that would be fascinating that I know his team is more willing than ever to discuss him in a trade, and if you're looking at names that would potentially be someone who you could grow and develop a little bit, is there an opportunity for you to look at someone like Patrick Williams in Chicago? Williams has been mentioned in trade rumors. He is still only 23 years old and could be a fit in Golden State. Williams has dealt with injury trouble, but he features a high ceiling. Through 15 games during the 2024-25 season, Williams has averaged 9.9 points, 5.0 rebounds, 2.3 assists and 1.0 steals per outing. He has played at their All-NBA level since the 2020-21 season. Williams could make a big impact for a contending team. Meanwhile, the Warriors have struggled in recent action but are playing well overall. Golden State's expectations from around the NBA world were not especially high heading into the 2024-25 season, yet the Warriors hold a stellar 12-5 record as of this story's writing. Adding Williams would provide depth and versatility at the forward positions the Warriors will likely look to add before the NBA trade deadline, as long as they continue to play at a high level. And you fan, what do you think of the situation of Patrick Williams? Leave your opinion in the comments.